Coming up, the joyrider smash, putting lives at risk.
Well, obviously I'm a bit stressed out. What I'm looking at, it looks kind of bad, you know, because obviously I have to get my dad out the car.
The empty fuel can
Run out of petrol there.
Was just about to get lifted.
giving traffic officers a headache.
We're in a 70-mile-an-hour stretch of road. Just takes a driver not to be concentrating, and we could have a result of an RTC just because of the vehicle being out of fuel.
And the heroes in high vis
Are you feeling any pain anywhere?
No, I'm just shaking.
Just checking.
come to the rescue.
It's only shock this, sweetie. It'll go away. Just take slow, deep breaths and try not to focus on what's gone off.
At almost 400 miles long, the Great North Road weaves through 18 counties and more than a dozen of Britain's major towns and cities. It's an unrivaled highway used by hundreds and thousands of us every day. But not everyone sticks to the rules. In the last 3 years, vehicle thefts have risen by 30%. For the joyriders behind the wheel, driving dangerously and at high speeds can result in people being injured or killed. Just off the A1 near Newcastle, there's a report of a stolen vehicle. With a police unit in pursuit, the driver's desperation to escape sees him drive on the wrong side of the road. But his bid to outrun the police suddenly takes a dramatic turn. PC Darren Lant has left his A1 patrol and is racing to assist at the scene of the collision.
The vehicle has crashed into the rear of another vehicle. There's somebody just found having a head injury, and 2 other people in the vehicle also. Talking about the subject vehicle.
As Darren arrives, he can see it's a nasty crash and a chaotic scene. The other police unit are detaining the occupants of the stolen car.
At this moment in time, we've got three adults in custody. One's run off, but we're not sure who is the driver at the moment. We've got people driving stolen cars, high speed, in build-up areas, crashing cars. It's a real worry, and innocent people get hurt as a result of it.
The suspects are arrested and taken away. Darren now focuses on the driver of the other car.
Were you the only person in this car, sir, are you? And how old are you, sir?
50.
Okay. One adult male occupant, a 50-year-old male, complaining of neck and chest injuries, but we need an ambulance to check him out. He's still in the vehicle.
The driver, Colin Innard, is in considerable pain and in need of medical attention.
The guy that in the car, he was a bit severe whiplash and those related injuries. It could have been a lot worse. The speed of the vehicle was travelling could have quite easily been a fatality.
With an ambulance now on scene, the severity of the driver's injuries can be assessed. And it's not good news.
The paramedics that turned up are just a little bit concerned over the level of injuries to the guy's neck and his back, so they just want to make sure that everything's safe before they try and take him out of the vehicle. We've called the fire brigade to come down, stabilise the vehicle, if necessary start taking roofs and doors off and that sort of stuff so they can get him out nice and safely.
And soon the fire and rescue teams are at the scene. While they set to work removing Colin from the car, Darren makes sure the area is secure.
We've got the road closed, both ends, both ways, so we've got a nice safe sterile area to work. Nobody's going to get hurt, and it allows us and the rest of the emergency services to work nice and safely and get the guy out of his car.
The police now concentrate on gathering evidence.
We're just looking for fresh marks, locked wheel marks, straight marks on the curb, that sort of stuff. An indication that will tell us exactly what's happened. See there where the tyre marks, the imprint in the mud and the rubbish, the dirt.
Alongside the dash cam, they now have a clear picture of what happened.
The stolen car, as it's been pursued along the road here, it's lost control and struck the curb. On this side of the road, so it's been on the wrong side of the road when he struck the curb, which has caused them to lose control even more, come to a rest in a mangled heap over there, but nothing before striking the other car.
As the doors are cut from the car, Andrew, the driver's son, arrives.
I just got to get him out of the car, that's all. But obviously I'm a bit stressed out. What I'm looking at, it looks kind of bad, you know, because obviously I have to get my dad out of the car. You know, so, yeah, you know.
It's a difficult scene to witness.
Right, people are going to have to come straight round.
But after a huge team effort from the emergency services, Colin is safely removed from the car.
He'll be going off to Newcastle Royal Victoria, where he'll get X-rayed and CT scanned and all that sort of stuff, just to make sure that there's nothing that they've missed at the roadside. Hopefully he'll be all right, but at the moment it doesn't look too serious, which is good news.
Darren knows that it's fortunate that only one person has been injured as a result of this reckless driving.
It's just the grace of God that there was nobody stood in the bus stop or waiting for the bus. It's relatively late at night. There's two schools here, there's a senior school. This place could have been crawling with kids at the middle of the day, but thankfully it's not the case. What is tragic, he's had his car damaged, probably right off, he's injured.
On the opposite side of the city, Highways England traffic officers Peter Senior and Scott Wilson have just received an emergency call-out.
4-1, are you there, over?
A car has broken down in the middle of the A1.
Right, we'll make our way down now, mate. We've just had a report from our control room that on the northbound carriageway of the A1, apparently there's a car stationary in lane 1.
Peter and Scott are experienced patrol officers, but even they don't know what they're going to be faced with in situations like these.
It could have stopped for any reason. Could be a medical emergency. You know, driver may have collapsed, had a heart attack.
But one thing they do know is the A1. And a breakdown in a busy lane can be extremely dangerous.
The location we're heading to, traffic's light at this time of night, so it is usually pretty fast moving. And a vehicle travelling at 70 miles an hour may not realise that vehicle's actually stationary until it's too late to stop.
Spotting a vehicle in the dark from a distance isn't easy, so Scott must take extra precautions when approaching.
What I'll do now is I'll reduce my speed to give us a good visibility of what's in front. And here it is here.
It is protruding into live lane, so we will have to move pretty quick on this one now.
With the back of the car stuck out into speeding traffic, it's an accident waiting to happen.
You can see the vehicle is protruding into live lane, so if we weren't to take the lane out, there's the risk of that vehicle getting clipped.
Scott quickly sets up traffic control to warn other drivers of the potential danger ahead.
Vehicles are going at least 70 miles an hour in this stretch. It's on a bad bend. He's in a very dangerous place, and people come around here like just travelling far too fast.
With the traffic still speeding towards him, Peter needs to check the vehicle and its driver.
The vehicle looks, it's abandoned. Can't see anyone in the bushes. 4-1, this vehicle's abandoned. It's locked and secure. I can't see any obvious signs of damage over.
It's a mystery, but with no driver in sight and the car in a precarious position, the lads need to move it, and fast.
Priority now is obviously to make sure that you can get some sort of recovery here. My priority this end is to make sure traffic's following our closure, that there's no incidents down there.
Suddenly from the darkness, a figure emerges. A young man is heading towards the vehicle with a petrol can and an explanation.
Run out of petrol there.
Was just about to get lifted. It was going to be costly. The driver's here. He's just in the process of refueling, so I'll keep you updated. Over.
Sorry about this. Rushed to the petrol station as quick as I could out.
You can get ticketed for it, you know. The best advice we can give, just put fuel in your car. Silly trying to run a car without fuel in it.
With the tank topped up.
Hopefully that's all that's wrong.
Oh, aye, it's fuel, aye.
It should be problem solved. But unfortunately, in this case, it isn't.
Give it a bit of throttle when you turn it over, they'll pump it through a bit quicker.
The car won't start.
Don't know what the problem is. I mean, he was convinced that it ran out of fuel. He's put a can of fuel in, but at the moment it's still not starting up. Is it just turning? It's a regular thing, people running out of fuel, and it's not always a simple case, as you can see now, putting fuel in that runs again.
The longer the car is there, the bigger the risk not only to the driver, but to Peter, Scott, and the other A1 users.
I mean, the worst scenario we've got now, we're in a 70-mile-an-hour stretch of road. Just takes a driver not to be concentrating, and we could have a result of an RTC just because of the vehicle being out of fuel.
"160 miles away in Liverpool, two Arctic artists are preparing for a long and very chilly journey up the A1 to Durham. Ice on the road normally spells trouble, but there are exceptions to every rule. International ice sculpting champions Matt Challoner and Matt Foster are creating 24 frozen works of art.
This is my office. It's a little bit strange. I love it. It's nice. Most days I come into my freezer, bang on my ear tunes, and then just work away.
In 2 weeks' time, the Frosty Figures will be travelling in a fleet of vans from the studio in Liverpool to the Fire and Ice Festival in the picturesque city of Durham.
Durham's one of our biggest events of the year. We've done it 3 years in a row now. It's our 4th time doing it. Every year it grows a little bit. You see all the reactions of all the kids, all the parents. Like, everyone loves it. Kids love it, adults love it. Everyone's fascinated by ice sculptures.
The sculptures have a literary theme, and amongst them are some very famous faces.
So this one's Paddington Bear. We've got 24 sculptures to make, and I think we've got 10 of them done now, so we're getting there.
And the character taking centre stage.
We're doing a giant Gruffalo for the children to sort of stand by and get pictures on. This is the biggest one we're doing for the whole event. This will probably take me about a day and a half to complete. Hopefully finish this one tomorrow and then get them all wrapped up, and then all ready to take them up the A1 to Durham.
It's the morning of their A1 journey, and the carvings are complete. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, as transporting the sculptures is a slippery business.
So obviously we've got to be really careful when we're moving the ice. You know, any mistake or any slip, it smashes all over the floor. So it's our constant worry, really, is transporting and moving it. So we've got to get 5 tons of ice here from Liverpool all the way across to the other side, up the A1 and to Durham without having any accidents.
And on the journey, it's vital everyone keeps their cool.
What we're doing at this moment is we line the vans up with duvets and foil, and then essentially we put all the sculptures in, and once all the sculptures in, we sort of wrap this and basically make it into like a mini freezer.
But even champion ice sculptors aren't totally chilled.
Always in the back of your mind, doesn't matter how many times I've done it, you're always thinking, is it safe? When you open it up, just a little thought in your back of my mind, if everything's slick here, this is going to be ruined. I normally have a bit of a sleepless night the night before, yeah.
It's crucial to keep the cold in and the sculptures cushioned, so they're bubble wrapped before being loaded into the van.
So this is dry ice, compressed carbon dioxide, minus 70. If you touch that with your bare finger, it'll stick to it and burn. It's nasty, but keeps our ice sculptures cold overnight. Perfect.
Oh,
last piece.
Last one, this.
Just 5 tons.
With the vans loaded, it's time to get on the road. As it's an early start in the morning, they're travelling up the night before the festival.
We should be hitting the A1 in about 10 minutes, and then it's about an hour's drive up to Durham.
It's a 160-mile journey in convoy from Liverpool to Durham with their freezing, fragile cargo.
Everything's at stake, transporting them, really. It's easy doing it in the studio and having everything made, but ultimately it's down to us to get it to the job and it looking amazing for the client. One of the biggest ones we did was we had to drive, I think it was about 6 tons of ice over to Belfast, because we were building a set for Game of Thrones. It was just like a big sort of ice henge, and it was really choppy day on sea, so the vans were going up and down, and just because of the nature of the job and the client we were working for, it was very nervous, but all went well. We got there on time and everything was fine.
And Matt knows when they're on the road, the risks are always high.
Transporting ice, there's so many things to go wrong. If someone brakes in front and we slam on the brakes, everything's going to push forward. There's loads of fragile sculptures back there, so any kind of pressure on one, something could ping off. Could break off a wing or break off a nose or something. We always tell all of our drivers and ourselves to leave lots of distance between us and cars in front.
So I've got to an event where everything's shifted a bit because someone cut us up and had to slam on, and you can just see everything, it's all still standing, but it's all on a big angle. So when you start unwrapping it, you're basically trying to take the top bits off so it doesn't fall to bits. Touch wood, not had anything actually bust in transit yet, but I'm sure one day that will happen.
But Matt hasn't always been so lucky.
The one time I've had a real bad break was when all the cars stopped on the motorway for something or other, and I had to slam on the brakes, and I heard a thud in the back, and when I got to the event to set it up, it was an Eagle. Both the wings had broke off the back of it. Luckily, I managed to stick them back on, but that was really luckily. It could have been an absolute disaster.
On a busy section of the A1 in South Yorkshire, where the Great North Road crosses the M18, traffic officers Paul Day and Matt Gibson are heading to a crash on a roundabout where a lorry has hit a car, sending it spinning across the road.
13 roundabout, junction 35, A1M from the M18. We've got a multi-vehicle RTC. We're probably going to have to block it while we sort it out.
On arrival at the scene, the priority for Paul and Matt is to hold up traffic behind.
You got it? You watch behind. 13, we've just got the roundabout blocked. We've got 3 LGVs, 1 on the hard shoulder, 2 in lane 1. Matt, if you watch behind.
I'm going to try and stop this traffic on this slit.
Anybody injured?
I'm not too sure about the lady over there.
Right, just bear with us.
She might be sure.
This one here and this truck here, we're just going to move it to hard shoulder if possible.
Sweetheart, can you come and sit in this front seat with me?
While Paul looks after the distressed lady, Matt helps the lorry driver, who's also shaken up. They need to get the vehicles off the carriageway.
If you get in that car, get in the seat, don't let the dog out.
But neither of the drivers are in a fit state to move them.
We're just getting another wagon driver just to drive his truck, because this fella's just a little bit shook up at the moment, so hopefully once it's all sorted we find out what's happened.
With Paul taking the car to the hard shoulder, Matt removes the roadblock and gets the traffic moving again.
Right, all this lane's just clear. Police are just going to sort this wagon out. He's just a witness. And then we're just going to get onto the hard show around here, and hopefully these will be all right and everyone's safe.
Although the driver of the car, Pauline Richardson, isn't injured, she's extremely upset.
Are you feeling any pain anywhere?
No, I'm just shaking.
Just shaking?
Shaking.
Right. You see them Werthers there? Yeah. Gently, just have one of them. It'll get your sugar up, because what you've done is you've dumped all adrenaline into your system, and you've no sugar. See, it's only shock this, sweetie. Don't worry about it, honest. It'll go away. It'll go away. So long as you're not injured and you're just reliving it, that's all. All you have to do is just take slow, deep breaths and try not to focus on what's gone off.
A paramedic has arrived to check her over, and for Paul, It's a reaction he's seen countless times.
An LGV compared to this is probably 4, 5 times, 6 times as big. And this could be the first time this lady's been involved in anything of this size. And it's just a frightening experience for anybody.
I'm coming off the motorway to go to Dennerby, and this massive lorry started pulling across. I went into the chevron a bit, and then it hit me and spun the car around, and it was really frightening.
Pauline and her partner Barry Hartwell were heading home after a holiday. He was following on his motorbike and saw the whole terrifying incident.
We've got a caravan at Cleethorpes, and we were coming back because we've got a couple of appointments. All of a sudden this lorry come across and took my missus into its side. So obviously I've parked up and gone back, and the police and all these lads are sorting it out. So I think she's coming round now a bit, bless her. She's bound to be shocked when a lorry shoving you down the road, isn't it? Surely. You don't want to see it that day, obviously.
After being questioned by police, the lorry driver is free to leave.
Nice and steady, and just edge yourself across.
All right, mate.
Keep your indicator on. All right.
Yeah, cheers, thank you.
And the team are confident that Pauline can complete her short journey home.
Are we good? Yeah. Good.
With the support of 2 friendly passengers.
The dogs have been amazing. I think they know that I was a little bit frightened, so instead of barking, they've been really calm, they've been smashing, best they've ever been. I'm frightened for the dogs as well. I know it's silly, but you're thinking the dogs are my babies.
You see them 2 dogs in the back of that car that were running about? Little terriers.
I know, you don't want them to get out, do you? That would have been last thing, chasing them around.
We've had dogs missing for days running after something like that.
I'd love to watch you running after them.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm glad she didn't have far to go now after that, because she was absolutely distraught, shaking. She went into some right shock.
The driver at Wagon, he was saying he was shaking and he upset at the same time. It's just shock for people, isn't it? They don't expect it to happen, and then next thing, they're all live laying in the middle of the road, they don't know what to do.
Well, she told me, she said to me, she said he hit her and she just couldn't do it. She just went spinning round. Yeah. She didn't even see where they were coming from.
It's going to be a shock to anyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Coming up, it's a fair cop.
We're not nasty ogres, although we look like it.
For this sorry speeder.
Got caught speeding, banged the right, 82 in a 70. Just one of them things, open road and speeding.
And will it be a frosty reception for the frozen figures in Durham?
Oh. Whoa. We've got a fracture over that logo. The worst is when you're doing a wedding sculpture and you've got a love heart with the names in it, and then a big crack goes right through the names. That's when it's a nightmare.
On the A1 west of Newcastle, Highways England traffic officers Peter Senior and Scott Wilson are still trying to move a stricken car which ran out of fuel on a busy and notoriously dangerous stretch of dual carriageway.
He's still trying, as I say, it is fire, and hopefully it's going to kick into life. I mean, the driver has made the best attempt to get his vehicle onto the verge, however, it's still protruding into a live lane.
The driver has now put petrol in, but his car still won't start.
It should start, it needs more fuel.
Tell you what, let it stand a second and then try it again.
Peter and Scott have put in a temporary closure leading up to the vehicle. But with oncoming traffic travelling at 70 miles per hour in the dark, it's a dangerous place to work.
With the bend, vehicles are coming around the corner and not seeing us. Because even now, without lane closure out, they're coming pretty close to where the taper is, even though they can see it from some distance back.
This stretch of the A1 usually offers a free recovery service, but unfortunately, at this time of night, it's closed. Peter and Scott need to think on their feet.
Do you want to try and roll it and see if the flat ground will do it?
The car is at an angle on the verge, which may be affecting the petrol intake. Peter decides to push it onto the carriageway in the hope the level change may help.
Try that.
But his plan doesn't work. The car is now more exposed to oncoming traffic. And even with a full lane closure, the lads and the driver are still vulnerable.
I have had incidents where vehicles have actually hit some of our closure or even come in because they've been travelling too fast and not looking forward.
The only option is to push the car up the grass banking away from the carriageway.
The driver says he's got his own recovery if he cannot get it started. Push the vehicle right over. He's well on the verge now, well clear of the carriageway, and he can get it recovered safely from there.
With the car and its driver now clear of any immediate danger and the breakdown service on their way, Peter and Scott can pack up.
Good to go.
Working on the front line of the A1 can be unpredictable, but this incident could have been avoided.
It doesn't matter what incident you're dealing with, it is a dangerous place to work. And yes, that's part of our job, but when we have to do it unnecessarily, that's where most of us get rather frustrated about it.
But Peter has the perfect remedy.
About time to head back to the office. Quick cup of tea before we go home, I think.
Team medals, I think.
Charlie Yankee 33 from my partner.
Unfortunately, Peter's brew will have to go on the back burner. Another call has just come in.
I've had reports from our control room that there's been a 4-vehicle RTC. It's on the A1 on the northbound carriageway. We're only a few minutes away, so we'll soon find out what's going on.
The crash is only 100 metres away from the car that ran out of fuel. With 4 cars involved and potential injuries, Peter and Scott need to head back fast. "50 miles north of Newcastle, PC Darren Lant is on patrol.
Tango Mike 2792 LB.
He usually drives a highly visible marked police car, but today he's working undercover.
We're just travelling down through the area of Morbith. Unbeknown to the public, we're in an unmarked car today and we're in amongst them.
And it doesn't take long before something catches his eye.
I've just been keeping an eye on the silver car in front of us here in lane 2. He's approaching mid-80s. I'm sitting at 85, 84. Not closing in on him. So we'll try and get a proper check on him. So, 82. Try and have a look to see how close he is to the guy in front. In the age-old saying of the 2-second rule between you and the car in front. He's nowhere at 2 seconds and he's doing 82 miles an hour. Heavy brake in, playing with something in the centre console. Don't know what it is. So yeah, he's definitely just get himself on the hello, come and have a chat with me list.
Every year, speeding drivers are a contributory factor in hundreds of deaths on the UK's roads. So it's not something Darren takes lightly.
So as soon as I get around this bend, we'll have a chat, see what he's got to say.
Darren's been a police officer for 19 years. And in that time, he's learnt that no 2 drivers react the same way to being pulled over.
Good morning, sir.
All right, mate.
How are you doing?
I was all right.
You were doing all right, weren't you? Come and have a chat with me, 2 seconds. Take a seat on the back on that side for us. Right then, we'll get some details down, and then I'll explain to you why I've caused you to stop in such a dramatic fashion, although I'm pretty sure you know why I've stopped you. Is it your car, is it?
Company car, mate.
Company car, is it? All right. I've stopped you for the offence of speeding, okay, and also for careless driving. Right. I'm behind you here. You're doing 83, and you're right on the car in front of you.
That's it, bang the right spot, like on no problems. Like.
Right. Have you got any points on your licence at the minute?
4, I think it is.
And what was that for?
Well,
for speeding as well.
Actually, It was speeding, and I didn't have the fine come through, and I ended up having to go to court.
Okay.
Over it, and that's why I had the 4 points.
Right.
And I had a bigger fine.
No, it's okay. Have you been on a speed awareness course at all?
I haven't.
You haven't? Right, what I'm going to do is, that's what I'm going to arrange for this one. All right, you're not getting points, you're not getting fined out like that, right? We're not nasty ogres. Although we look like it.
No, I'm not. What can I say? You know what I mean? By the lights, isn't it?
Right, what will happen is you'll get some paperwork through the post in the next couple of weeks, and as long as you accept that course and you go on the course, that's the end of it. No points, nothing like that. All right, I'll come and let you watch what you're doing.
Just come from Scotland. I'm heading to Gateshead. Got caught speeding, banged the right, 82 in a, was it 60, 70? It's just one of them things, open road and speeding. Got caught, fair cop. What can I say?
The speeding driver's taken his punishment on the chin, but not everyone that Darren stops on the A1 is quite so understanding.
He's one of those people that just seems to have the right attitude. As soon as I stop and spoke to him, it's a hands up time. Look, I'm really sorry, I'm an idiot. I almost feel bad. No, I don't. He's doing 82 miles an hour, 84 at one point. It's too fast anyway, but it's too close to the corn front. He was giving himself no reaction time, no braking time, anything like that. Had the corn front wanted to stop, for whatever reason, there would have been a collision. He's eligible for a speed awareness course, and that's what will happen. We'll stick him on a course. He's not going to get points, he's not going to get fined, and he's more than happy with that. And as I say, I wish they were all like that. Shook my hand. Normally I want to grab your hand and rip it off. Thankfully on this occasion, no. So we'll head back out and see if we can find someone else.
Back in Newcastle, traffic officers Peter Senior and Scott Wilson are heading to a four-car smash on a busy section of their 80-mile patch.
You just don't know. I mean, it can be anything from a minor bump to something with very serious injuries or worse. So I would think if it's anything serious, other services will already be on scene. There's the blues.
Within seconds, the crash comes into view. Emergency services are already tending to the drivers, and it doesn't look good.
Let's have a chat with the police now. We'll take some of them.
It looks like they've got all the vehicles cleared within to the roadwork, so the actual running lane isn't affected. I'm guessing it'll be something to do with this shortened slip where somebody's tried to pull out and it's caused the collision. But I'll have a word with the officers and we'll take it from there.
Despite the radio information stating it was a four-car incident.
All right.
As Peter approaches, he can only see two damaged vehicles.
How many cars actually in the collision? Two. All right. No one injured?
Minor injuries.
Just minor. Just at our place now. 4-1, this is only a two-vehicle RTC. The other two vehicles, I believe, are just witnesses. Over.
That's received.
Both drivers involved were young, so their parents have also arrived to help clear the vehicles.
My daughter's driver was in the car. I've just been dropped off to pick her up. She's still a bit shaken.
And they can shed some light on the cause of the collision.
His son, he's went to give way, and somebody just hit him in the back.
Just been coming down there.
Aye.
One's at the stop, the other one hasn't seen it, and been looking in the mirror and then just gone straight in the back.
It's been a lucky escape.
It looks like he's got a sore neck, but he hopefully should be all right, but we'll probably get him checked over anyway tomorrow. But he didn't want to drive the car, he said he felt dizzy, that's why I had to get it out of the way.
And for Peter and Scott, all that's left to do is to clear the vehicles before they prepare to leave.
Given the information we had initially, it's turned out it's been nothing too serious. Only minor damage to the vehicles, and that's the scene clear. Is there anything you want from us?
That's absolutely fine, like I said.
Right.
5-10 minutes max and we should be out.
Yeah, well, that's fine. As long as people are all right, that's the main thing. Good.
With the incident in hand, the end of their shift is finally in sight.
We thought we're finished. Should have been just about arriving home now, but we'll get back now, get cleared up and hopefully get away home.
Have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
But Peter's plans are scuppered yet again.
Live there, wrecked, I love that.
motorbike.
Spotted a live lane breakdown, we think, on the other side in lane 1, and 2 motorbikes.
Why did I say we're going to get home? Speak too early. Me and my big gob.
Always get you in bother.
It does. Do I see a red light stationary?
2 motorbikes have stopped in the first lane of the dual carriageway. Peter jumps out to investigate.
What's the matter with it?
Oh, my leg just got really hot.
The first biker has had a fuel leak and the second stopped to help.
Broke down, so I pulled in and thought I'd be a nice person.
If you want a chance driving at home, that's fine then.
They've managed to temporarily repair the problem, so Peter is happy for them to get on their way.
Right, OK then. Take care, mate.
For Peter and Scott, it's been the never-ending shift.
Typical. You're getting an early finish. No, there's not. There's a 4-vehicle RTC. Right, now we're going home. No, we're not. There's another breakdown.
Thankfully, it's third time lucky.
I'm just going to shut up in future.
Let me do the talking, mate.
Yeah.
Happy his patch of the A1 is now running smoothly, Peter can finally focus on his other priority.
Quick cup of tea before we go home, I think. Anything else comes in, night shift can have it.
"100 miles south in Yorkshire, ice sculptors Matt Foster and Matt Challoner have joined the A1. They're heading to Durham for the annual Fire and Ice Festival. Accompanying them are 24 glacial giants, and one in particular is a bit of a beast.
The Gruffalo's massive, he's like nearly 2 meters tall, and I know he's going to wow everybody, that the kids are going to absolutely love it tomorrow. So it's always exciting when you know you've got a crowd pleaser in the back of the van, and it's going to cheer everybody up when they see it.
The pressure is on to get them all there in one piece.
There's lots of delicate things in different shapes, so we try and pack it as well as possible, but coming on the roads and going around roundabouts and stuff, sometimes things can shift.
So until they've arrived and the sculptures are in place, Matt knows they're still on thin ice.
I guess my worst fear is ultimately just letting down the clients, because no ice sculpture is cheap, so people are spending a lot of money and expecting us to deliver something that's going to wow everybody. And yeah, biggest fear is just letting somebody down who's put their trust and their money in your hands, really.
Finally, they reach the end of their A1 journey. They'll be spending the night in a hotel. Tomorrow will be their first chance to check if all the sculptures are still intact. It's the morning of the festival, and an early start for the 2 Matts and their team Attila and Julian.
We're just unloading all the equipment that all the sculptures sit up on. We just need to get everything out of the way so we can actually get to the ice.
After months of work, it's a tense moment as they check the sculptures are still frozen.
It's nice and frosty. It's a good sign. You're looking for condensation that's turned into like a snowy sort of ice. If you've got that, that means you've got a lot of cold energy kept inside.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect for the day. Yeah, oh, you see all the snow on it, stuff like that. That's a good sign. When we see things like this, it means we're happy.
But there's still a worry that the ice may have cracked.
One of the nervous bits is when you're opening it like this, because you don't know until now whether anything's knocked in the back of the van.
The match split into teams as it's now a race against time to get all the carvings on display around Durham.
So the trick for today is just not stop. Got to keep moving. Got to get 10 ice sculptures set up in 2.5 hours.
Soon the first sculpture's in place, with a little help from some special adhesive.
It's just water, but it just it gets sucked in when the ice is so cold that it just freezes and sticks it. That's already stuck with one piece. One done.
Across town, their biggest structure is starting to take shape.
Oh, this looks like the beginning of a Gruffalo. He's got turned out toes and knobbly knees, prickles all over his back.
Good?
Yeah, yeah.
But while progress appears to be going magically,
Gandalf,
Suddenly cracks begin to show.
Oh. Whoa.
We've got a fracture over that logo.
Not rude.
And no amount of wizardry can paper over that crack.
I like fractures in sculptures, it makes it look more icy. But obviously if it goes through a logo, and the worst is when you're doing a wedding sculpture and you've got a love heart with the names in it, and then a big crack goes right through the names. That's when it's a nightmare.
To me.
As time presses on, there's a flurry of activity.
This is definitely the most stressful part of the day. We're on the real tight time schedule. Got to get them all up by 10.
It's a final push for the boys. As the statues take pride of place.
Woo! Tin Man from Wizard of Oz. Yeah. The Bard. William Shakespeare.
All that's left is to put the finishing touches to their showstopper.
This is it, I'm pretty chuffed with it. There's a bit of a haul, getting them all the way down the A1, but he's got it in one piece, all happy.
People begin to line the streets as the ancient city of Durham is turned into a winter wonderland, sparkling with iconic ice installations.
Oh. Just in it. I can't even see the properly.
And one sculpture is a bit of a crowd pleaser.
I don't know how they carve them so good. It's like a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be.
It's cool. It's very amazing. Cool. Absolutely amazing. Love it.
Freezing and amazing.
It's the end of a successful day, and the sculptures have delighted the people of Durham.
Yeah, it's gone really well today. Been great reaction from the public and everything.
The weather was perfect, which makes the day really. Just if it had been raining or windy or hot, it would have spoiled it, but it was perfect. Sculptures lasted really well. We've just got to take them all down now and then hit the A1 and get home.
The motorist injured in the collision in Newcastle city centre is making a steady recovery. At their trial, 3 men pleaded guilty to a range of offences, including aggravated vehicle taking, affray, and possession of an offensive weapon in public. 2 of them were also convicted of failing to provide a specimen. The 3 were jailed for 2.5 years. After the shock of her accident, motorist Pauline Richardson was given a police escort home, but her car ended up being a write-off. And the 2 Matts had a safe trip back down the A1 to Liverpool and are now planning their next big event, the World Ice Art Championships in Alaska.